The ghosts are moving tonight. You can hear them, can't you? They're restless, hungry, and I should think, in desperate need of some company. Luckily for them, company is prominently featured on tonight's menu. Permit me to introduce myself. I am Frederick Lord. You've no doubt read of me in the papers and such. None of it true, I assure you. But more, enough about me. No, you're not here to learn about me. You're here to learn of the strange goings-on that occurred in this century-old triumph of brick and slate, simply known as the House on Haunted Hill. Originally built by the infamous coal miner Byron Valaflat, the house was meant to be a wedding present for his daughter Rebecca. Oh, poor Rebecca. Her story was a tragic one, filled with lust and betrayal and violence, and all those other delicious little morsels that make ghost stories oh so very appealing. But more on her later. All you need to know presently is that in February of '59, I rented out the house so that my wife could throw herself a party. A haunted house party. Oh, so very amusing, my wife. At least, she used to be. Only 5 guests were invited, and as an incentive for staying until daybreak, they were each offered a party favor of $50,000 cash. Now, you may be wondering, who were these fortunate 5? Why were they chosen? And what made them so very special? And to that I say, allow me to introduce you. Firstly, we have Lance Schroeder, young, rugged, always lucky in his romantic escapades. Sadly, the same could not be said for his gambling prowess. Lance was a test pilot, so purportedly quite a brave man. Though, don't you think you would be a tad bit braver if you were being paid for it? Next is Ruth Bridges, a reporter and gossip columnist who, like an old basset hound I once had issues with sticking her nose where it didn't belong. Ruth claimed her reason for accepting my invitation was to write an article on ghosts, though I have it on good authority that she was desperate for money. Spendthrift. Winona Pritchard. She was the house's owner, though constantly swore she was too afraid to step foot in it. Here's what I don't understand. Why would a woman who claimed to live in mortal fear of a house risk her life by spending the night? Well, one thing you should know about Miss Pritchard is that she was quite loaded, not quite in the financial sense. Dr. David Trent. Trent was a psychiatrist who claimed that my ghosts would help with his work on hysteria. And who knows? Perhaps they would have. Alas, we'll never know. Perhaps it's just me. Don't you see the glint of greed around the mouth? The eyes. And finally, we come to a lost, wounded little bird known as Nina Mears. Nina was selected because she needed my money more than most. Wasn't she pretty? Soft eyes, brown hair, delicious red lips. It's hard to believe someone so beautiful could have a past so tragic. You hear that? That means it's time to go back. Time to reignite the flames of the past and uncover secrets that have been buried for far too long. And this story, like all great ghost stories, begins on a dark and stormy night.
Well, wasn't that something? The worst. We better in here. Where is everyone? You can't be the only ones.
Only one way to find out. Hello? Mr. Lauren? Anybody? Hello?
I'm no detective, but it appears as if no one is home.
That'd be my diagnosis.
Somebody must be close by. The house is warm and the candles are on. If only this place weren't so menacing. Or dusty. Oh, would you just look at this hat? Ruined. $60 down the drain.
60?
And worth every penny. Fashion is an art, and you can't put a price on art.
I think. Perhaps we better stay put until someone comes and finds us.
I hope whoever comes brings some fresh towels and shows me where I can freshen up.
You know, you gotta hand it to this place. If I were a ghost, this would be a house I'd haunt.
These certainly aren't the accommodations one expects when dealing with someone as notable as Frederick Lauren.
I always heard he lived in an old mansion on Trousdale, not some dank old two-man. Where are we exactly? Oh, come now. One of us must know. Anybody?
Death Valley.
I beg your pardon?
That's where we are. Death Valley. About 2 hours outside of Vegas, give or take.
Now we're talking. Maybe we can convince us your money back. Move this party from the desert to the sand. Get a room, shoot some crack. I've been on a losing streak lately, but if Mr. Lauren's paying, I can play all night.
And how do you propose we get there? The procession of persons that brought us here left without saying a word. No card, no number, nothing. And besides, the last thing some of us need is to find ourselves in more debt.
They were rather disturbing, weren't they? The hearses and that iron gate up front. It appeared to open all by itself.
It was just a simple party trick, nothing more.
I had to break it to you, bud. Only ghosts have parties here.
Is that so?
Yeah, but my guesses will be joining them soon.
In a drink.
In death.
That was cheerful, not to mention appropriately timed, and you know all of this because...
Because I own this place.
Do you mean to tell us that you live here?
Nobody lives here. They can try, but they won't last long. See, the place used to be owned by my grandfather, and then when he died, it went to me. I've only spent one night here, and that was plenty. I was lucky to make it out with my life.
What happened?
Yes, what did happen?
I, don't really like talking about it, especially after strangers.
She's right. Outside of introducing ourselves before the storm hit, we're all strangers to each other. Or at least, you're all strangers to me.
None of you go through her to me.
What about you, miss? Do you recognize anyone here?
No.
Let's try another approach then. Who here is acquainted with Mr. Lauren?
Not me. Heard of him, sure, but never met the guy.
I've tried at least several times to get an interview with him, and each time they didn't pan out. I even tried writing a few articles about his supposed affairs, hoping to get his attention, but still nothing. Then about a week ago, I received a telephone call from some personal assistant inviting me to his wife's birthday party.
That was my experience as well.
I used to work for one of the companies, but that was a long while ago.
Okay then, Rich. Guess you're the only one who's had any interaction with him, huh?
Not me. All the details about renting the place were done by mail, and don't call me rich.
Well, whatever he paid you, we can clearly afford it. You'd have to be quite wealthy to throw a $250,000 party for 5 people.
I recently read he bought the old Clonmel Theater, the one on Fountain. And I know for a fact he owns at least 8 steel mills and 10 movie houses.
Since we're talking numbers, he's also had what, 5 wives?
4 so far.
That lucky dog. Though, I don't know if he can do much better as current one. And you've seen a picture of hers. She looks like she stepped right out of a painting.
What I can't understand is why someone with his wealth and resources would want to spend an evening, let alone his wife's birthday, with 5 complete strangers in a supposedly haunted house.
There's no supposedly about it. The ghosts are real. Look, everything will seem normal at first, but then things will start to happen. Objects, people, they'll begin to vanish, to disappear. You'll see. Just give them time. Just give them time.
Miss Richard, while we are waiting, would you please tell us what happened? Normally I wouldn't be so persistent, it's just, I'm a little anxious, that's all.
I understand
Miss
that.
Richard, please.
Okay. Well, you see, it was the walls.
Walls?
They started in on me. Slowly, at first. Very slowly. It took hours.
And these walls, you say they were...
Moving. I tried to stop them to escape, but they wouldn't. She wouldn't let me. I think she wanted to kill me.
She?
That's right.
And you were conscious during this? Not incapacitated in any way?
I wasn't drunk if that's what you're implying.
No one was saying that.
Speak for yourself. Now, Miss Pritchard, this story of yours. You mean to tell us you were awake for all of it? You witnessed all of it?
Held out as long as I could. When my bones began to splinter and break, I passed out.
It's horrible. Probably didn't feel too great either.
What about when you came to? These walls, they were...
Back where they belonged. I woke up in the hospital and they were back where they belonged. It was as if nothing had happened. After that, I never stepped foot in this place again. At least not until tonight.
I wouldn't be too discouraged, Rich. Things like this happen to guys in airports all the time.
Walls crush their bones? What planes are you boys flying?
No, I mean, you work so many hours, you don't get enough sleep, you start to see things. Or so I've been told.
Lance is right. The power of suggestion can be a dangerous thing. The mind can play tricks on you.
And what are you, a doctor?
Only Monday through Friday, and every other Saturday, 8 to 8. I'm a psychiatrist.
Is that so? Well then, I'll have to show you where it happened. And I'll show you too. Maybe the walls will start moving and messing with your minds as well.
Perhaps, but I think we all know that's highly unlikely.
Are you calling me a liar?
Of course not.
It sounds like you are.
He wasn't saying that.
Not in the slightest. I was merely stating
You
that-
were saying what everyone else says. That they're delusions, that I'm delusional, that I saw things that weren't there.
No, I'm saying that if you believe that you saw...
I know what I saw, and soon you all will too. And you'll fear and know the same things I've been dealing with for years.
This has gotten out of hand. Please, calm down.
I am calm.
Could have fooled me?
Ruth!
I am.
Look, Rich,
And do not call me Prince.
What is that?
the doors, they're locked.
Who's delusional now?
Oh, sweetie, still you. Try turning harder.
Let me see that. Won't budge.
What kind of game is this?
I don't know, but it's one I have no intention of playing. Lauren, if you're out there and this is your idea of a joke, you can just stop it. You hear me? It's over.
Come on!
Oh, and just when I thought things couldn't get any better.
Everyone remain calm. It'll be all right.
Nina, is that you?
Yeah, I'm alright.
The doctor is right. The ghosts are gonna get us, whether the lights are on or not.
Shut up, Richard!
Nina, are you
Sure you're all right.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. All we need to do is stay perfectly still.
Well, let there be fright.
And you have to see my purse.
What?
I set it down right here. I know I did. I saw it a moment ago before the lights went out, but then it
Disappeared?
No, I'm sure it's none of you've seen it.
No, was there anything valuable in there?
No, just my wallet and some.
Was that the...
Well, anybody going to get that?
Hello? Is anyone in there? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Oh, thank goodness. Could you let me in, please?
I would love to, but the door is stuck.
Just give me a tug, please. It's freezing out here.
All right, but it won't do any.
Oh, thank goodness.
That's so much just so.
Oh, look. You're out here. I was hoping you'd be. The cars had trouble finding the place?
You mean hearses? And no.
Hearses? Right. Mr. Lauren's idea. Spooky, but you know how it can be.
Actually, we don't.
You don't, do you? Well, let's get this party started. I'm Cassidy Bowman, Mr. Lauren's personal assistant. I'm typically much more punctual, but with this weather and the storm, it's, well, you know. So tell me, did I miss anything?
Here. You're going to need.
Certainly escalated quickly. Nothing like the flickering of lights and slamming of doors. Get the blood pumping, the pulse racing. Well, perhaps not so much for you fine folk, but poor little Nina, not even the house for what? 20 minutes, and she's already shivering with fright. Luckily for her, there's Cassidy, who's always willing to help those in need. Sweet Cassidy. She was quite pretty, you know. Anyway, while the guests were making themselves comfortable, I made my way upstairs without being seen. and ventured forth from beauty to beast. Permit me to introduce you to my wife. Oh, Annabelle, dear.
Who is it?
Only your loving, faithful husband.
You must be mistaken, sir. I don't have one of those.
Oh, hurry up in there, will you? Our guests have arrived, and are unfortunately still breathing. Seems the storm has finally died down, though I doubt we've seen the last of it. You weren't frightened by the outage, were you? What am I saying? Nothing frightens you? Except, of course, poverty. Annabelle, what are you doing in there? You put your face on yet?
Of course. What do you think?
Oh, well, like this. You should try on another one. The cracks in your mask are starting to show.
Why do I even bother?
Beats me.
If only I could. I swear, Frederick, you couldn't have found a worse place if you tried. Cobwebs and dirt are everywhere. The sink barely trickles. I refuse to set one foot in that rusty bucket they call a bathtub.
Atmosphere, darling. When people think of a Frederick Lauren party, they think style and sophistication. Just like when they think of Frederick Lauren the man, they think finesse and flair.
That's not the F word I was thinking of.
Oh, don't be crass. Speaking of which, that's a fetching outfit you've got there. Don't you think it's about time you shed your skin and slithered into something more appropriate? You know, I don't like it when you dress that way.
I know. That's why I'm wearing it. And as for the party, I already told you, darling, I'm not going.
That you did, my dear, but you see, that's simply not an option. The spend the night ghost party was your idea after all.
And I was looking forward to it too, till that secretary of yours commandeered the guest list. Not that I'm surprised. She's rather excellent at taking things that don't belong to her.
Oh, it wasn't Cassidy's fault. She was merely following orders. You know how she bends over backwards to please me.
As well as other positions.
My, you're in a rare mood, aren't you? But not tonight. Not on your birthday. Now that you're getting along in years, you can't keep sneering at me every chance you get. Causes wrinkles.
Frederick, why didn't you invite any of my friends? Our friends? You're up to something, aren't you?
Aren't I always? And besides, I didn't know you had any friends left.
I would if it wasn't for your jealousy. What's your angle?
Oh, you're always so suspicious. If you must know, I had a distinct reason for inviting each person here. I told Cassidy I wanted a sort of cross-section, from psychiatrist to typist, drunk to jet pilot. You see, they all share one thing in common. They all need money. You remember what that's like, don't you? Being so desperate for a few dollars, you're willing to do practically anything. Like, say, tricking a millionaire with a penchant for blondes into marrying you.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
No? Well, perhaps a swig of this will refresh your memory. Oh, come now, it will kill you. Unless, of course, you've poisoned it like last month's dinner.
Not this again. The doctor said it was something you drank.
Ha! Yes. Arsenic on the rocks, my all-time favorite. Come now, just a few sips will enjoy the party.
None for me, thank you.
Oh, come now, Annabelle. Annabelle. Annabelle!
What?
I am not going to have any until you do. You know how I love my champagne. Don't make me wait, Annabelle. Annabelle! There's a good girl.
Get.
There's the girl I married. Tell me, would you go away for $5 million, tax-free?
Only 5?
How silly of me, you want it all, don't you?
I deserve it all.
Yes, I'm sure that you believe you do. Now, I expect to see you downstairs for a change of outfit and attitude. Oh, and happy birthday, darling. May you get everything you deserve. Something to remember me by.
One for Dr. Trent. One for Mr. Schroeder.
Oh, well.
One for Miss Pritchard. One for Miss Bridges. And the extra fluffy one for Miss Nina.
Oh, thanks. You didn't have to, though.
Oh, don't worry. I'm happy to. I need to keep you from getting sick. You seem like the only normal one here.
I don't know about that.
I do. Believe me. Say, what's the perfume you're wearing?
Oh, it's a testing. There wouldn't happen to be any food around here, would there?
Yes, I'm rather hungry myself.
Well, as luck would have it, Oh! Perfect timing. This is Louis and Elmer Slides, the house's caretakers. I've heard Elmer is an exceptional cook, so this should be a treat for everyone.
Boy, this is quite some spread.
And these are only the hors d'oeuvres. Wait until you see what they have planned for dinner.
If they have any of those little cocktail weenies,
Eleanor! I'm sorry, but I hear they're very traditional. Isn't that right, Miss Pritchard?
Don't ask me, I barely know him. Well, I don't.
Well, anyway, thank you, Mr. Slides. Mrs. Slides? Thank you, Mrs. Slides. I said thank you, Mrs. They must be hard of hearing.
is it safe now?
All yours.
Miss Bowman, I'm confused about these, caretakers. When we first arrived here, Lance called out for help, but there was no reply. Isn't that right, Lance?
Nope, not a word.
Now they're here roaming about the house. Why didn't they respond earlier? Pretty peculiar, if you ask me.
Not for this house. This house only lets you hear what it wants you to hear. I could set firecrackers off in your bed right now, and if the ghost didn't want you to hear it, you wouldn't. At least till it was too late.
You know, Miss Pritchard, what I don't understand is that this house is so evil and splinters people's bones. Why don't you just sell it?
Sure. Do you want it? The state doesn't want it. And last I checked, people aren't lining up to buy an old, dilapidated house in the middle of a desert.
Then why come back?
Because, even as scary as ghosts are, there are some things in this world even more terrifying, like unemployment. Oh. And God, would you give up on the old ratty thing? Just throw in the towel already.
My hats are my signature. They worked for Hedda and they'll work for me. To me, they're like children. Only you love them.
Back to the matter at hand. Who else is in this house? And where's Lauren? Why isn't he here yet? This isn't all some ruse, is it?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a ruse. He must be somewhere around here.
Right.
Mr. Lauren?
I'm waiting.
Lauren! On the contrary, Doctor, your host has arrived. You'll have to excuse me. You see, you're all a bit early, and my wife, as usual, is a bit late. She'll be joining us shortly. Ah, good. I see Miss Bowman was able to keep you company. Wonderful. Hello, Cassie.
Mr. Lauren?
And you must be.
Ruth Bridges, Hollywood Gazette. It's a thrill to meet you, Mr. Lauren, an absolute thrill.
I'm sure the pleasure is all yours.
Yes. Now, I know now's hardly the time for it, but I was hoping we could arrange a sit-down interview sometime. Something big, something exclusive. I can see it all now, and it's in bold font. Ruth Bridges, gap between millionaire and men, will be the talk of the town. For sure.
Absolutely, I'll be sure to take you up on this.
Really?
Of course.
Wonderful.
Cassie, write that down somewhere, if you feel like it. And who's this charming young flower?
This is Nina Mears. I believe she's to work at one of your old factories.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet all of you, of course. And while we're still getting to know each other, let's get acquainted with a drink. Cassidy?
Mr. Lauren, Winona Pritchard.
Ah, yes, the homeowner. Such an interesting place you have here. Filled with so much character. And what is that aroma I continue to pick up on? The house is covered in it.
Oh, death?
Ha! Oh.
Anyway, Mr. Lauren, I advise you to call this party immediately. The ghosts are moving, sir. I can hear them.
Can you?
Yes, they've already showed themselves once. They took her purse.
Is that so? Delightful! Hopefully there's more to come. Now, what's your preference?
Shouldn't you say pick your poison?
I'll go first. Scotch and, please.
Scotch and...
Surprise me. All I care about is scotch.
I like your spirit. Scotch and all around!
Nothing.
What, of course, one for you. Majesty pours the drinks, I'll go over the details. Firstly, to answer the question that's surely been gnawing at the back of your minds all evening, yes, you will each receive $50,000 cash, simply for spending the night. Now, if one or more of you is to have an encounter with one of Pritchard's ghosts and not survive, the $250,000 will be divided evenly among those of you who do. If I am to die, you'll be paid by my estate. I've instructed the house's caretakers to leave precisely at midnight, not a moment before. When they do, they're to lock us in here until they return at 5 a.m. Be advised, once these doors are locked, there's no way out. All the windows have bars that a jail would be proud of, and the house seals itself a bit like a vault.
Or a coffin.
Exactly. I should also mention there's no telephone and no one around for miles. So if you do plan on leaving, I'd have you let me know within the next 2 hours. Of course, if you leave, I shan't be able to pay you, but the choice is yours. Simple, though.
Mr. Lauren, you mean to say that there isn't a phone here? Not one?
That's correct.
But what if we need to call someone, or if they need to check on us?
Well, outside of using 2 cans and some string, I'd say you're out of luck.
It's odd, isn't it? The amenities this house does and doesn't have, like no electricity, but indoor plumbing. But still, though, I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, it's only for one night.
Exactly. Any questions? Yes, Doctor.
I'm interested in your reasoning. Why throw this so-called party aside from the pleasant, albeit unconventional company?
Well, I should think the answer is obvious. Ghosts! Everyone wonders what they'd do if they saw one. And now my lovely little wife has given us the opportunity of a lifetime to find out. Oh, isn't she amusing?
Amusing indeed, but ghosts, apparitions, what have you, are only creations of hysteria. And unless something tragic happens, I doubt we'll see any.
I don't know. Pritchard here guarantees genuine ghosts. Isn't that right, Pritchard? Eloquently put. Now, who wants to go exploring?
But we have a dozen more questions for you at least, like what's in it for you and why did you...
And all your questions will be answered, I assure you. But for the meantime, let's down our drinks and see what this place has to offer for us. This house on Haunted Hill.
Speaking of which, I've been wondering, is it the house that's haunted or the hill beneath it?
That's an excellent question. Pritchard.
The answer is, Lance, both.
How does she keep doing that?
Alright, careful going down this hallway. It's a lot of cobwebs. I actually have a funny story. See, there was this big mama spider, and the moment I found her, she exploded full of babies. You could feel them all around. It was something
It was
so
then that I forced Pritchard's hand and made him take us on a guided tour of his house. And while he was certainly apprehensive at first, when I told him there was an extra 100 in it for him, his nerves, like so many of his ghosts, mysteriously vanished. We wandered down a dark, cavernous hall, one draped in cobwebs. He then began swatting at them the way an adventurer may swat at the underbrush of a jungle. He seemed to take delight in this, we all did. That was until we rounded the bend and...
Stop!
What?
It's
Listen.
What is that?
Up there. It's blood.
I don't see anything.
Yep, nothing.
Believe me, it's there.
Believe you? Okay.
Don't be a spoiled sport. I'll play along, Pritchard. Why is there blood on the ceiling?
It's from above us, the master. That's where she killed them. Her first victim. Their blood not only seeps to the floor, it drips down, occasionally marking the shield of the neck.
Shield kill? Who are you talking about?
It doesn't matter. This is preposterous. That stain, if it's even there, could be a million things.
He's right. We need to stop wasting our time.
No, don't! What? It's
What?
on you.
What?
Get
What
it
is
off!
that?
Get it off!
Richard!
Right now!
From my head!
It's a mark of my dress! It's off and you
Calm
down!
down. Let's use a little less imagination and a little more logic, shall we? Water stained as it ran through the plaster. It isn't a ghost, it's a leak.
Yeah, you're right. And besides, look, it's gone now. See?
Good. I just hope it doesn't come back.
Oh, Pritchard, why would it come back? Now, your ghost doesn't want to hurt me or anything.
She was asking the right questions. Who would want to hurt her? Certainly nobody in our party. We pressed on, entering through the library, the billiards room, the various parlors, and eventually came down to the subterranean level of the house, and one of its main attractions, the wine cellar.
Sure is dusty and dried out here, Pritchard.
Yeah, well, nothing to really see either. Honestly, I
Oh,
think.
Miss Pritchard, is this not the place where a woman, a millionaire-ress, I believe, pushed her husband into a vat of something?
No, that I don't really think. Fine. From what I remember, my grandfather told me that after the Halifax incident.
Halifax incident?
The house didn't sell at first, but after a decade or so, it was bought by a wealthy woman who wanted to experiment with winemaking. She could never get it to taste right, though. At least that's what her husband said. Then, one night, she got so sick of him, she filled the vat with acid and threw him in it. He was found. Acid had gnawed through his flesh, and all that was left of him were bones.
What happened to the wife?
She was found in a closet. Weeks later, raving about a ghost who made her do it. A bride in a blood-stained dress with dead flower petals in her wake.
What's in the vat now?
Ask your question, Richard.
Fine, but don't say I didn't warn you.
My God!
But that's impossible. That acid must be half a century old.
I mean, does acid ever go bad? That stuff can be dangerous, can it?
Well, suppose there's only one way to find out. Who wants to go swimming? Ha ha ha! Oh, just a joke, dear, nothing more. Let's see here. Ah, perfect. Au revoir, little friends.
That's horrible. It is, though still looks better than my ex-husband.
Getting rid of it. It's disgusting.
You're right, Doctor. It is. Now, who's ready for dinner? I personally am famished. Let's see what the slides have prepared.
Fine by me.
Anything to get out of this dungeon?
He is rather creepy, isn't he?
Dr. Trent, has everyone else gone?
Only for a moment. What are you doing?
I've been wanting to ask you the same question. I can't believe that you're here, that we're here together.
I know, strange coincidence.
Very. Thank you for not saying anything earlier. The last thing I want is everyone knowing that I'm, you know,
Of course. How are you doing?
fine. Though, to be honest, being here around all of this, it's bringing up a lot of memories.
I suppose it would. Are you still taking your medication?
I was going to take one of my pills earlier, but
Your purse.
right.
Nina, I know you're no longer my patient, but as someone who's not only familiar with your condition, but cares for you deeply, I think it's best you tell me some more.
I can't do that. Barbara and I, things aren't good, and they're only going to get worse. We really need the money. We do.
I know what you mean.
Do you?
Of course. Just last year alone,
Wait, what was that?
it's probably...
There it is again.
Wait, I think it's coming from in here.
What is it?
It appears to be Hey!
Doctor! Doctor! What? What's going on, Mr. Lauren? Mrs. Lyons, and you? Doctor! Doctor! Who are you? What do you want? Oh, Miss Bridges, help me! Hurry!
Oh, Miss Mears!
There was a ghost! Or something! She attacked me! Dr. Trent! Dr. Trent! He's in there! You have to break it down! It's locked!
You people really need to invest in some door stopper.
But I swear it was locked! Let's go, Doc.
Old man looks as if he's hit his head.
Dr. Trent? Are you alright? Dr. Trent!
Oh! That's all right, Nina, I'm fine.
Nothing money can't fix, right, Lauren?
I I don't know what happened. One moment I was talking to you, the next.
It was a ghost. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it was the ghost. I saw her. I know I did.
Come now, Nina, ghosts aren't real.
But I saw her. I did. You believe me, don't you?
Well,
Lance? I mean, if Doc says. I saw her. I did. And none of you believe me. Where's Bridget?
you know where.
I'll find her. She'll believe me.
Miss Mears, come back!
Nina.
It's all right, Nina. It's all right. Only a few more hours. And you know what you saw. You know what you saw.
Are you all right?
I'm sorry. I'm a little jumpy tonight.
So I see. I'm Annabelle Lauren,
Miss Lauren's wife.
unfortunately. And you
Nina!
are-
Yes, I'm here for a party.
That's sweet. But I'm afraid it's not my party. Not anymore.
What do you mean?
Nothing. How long have you known my husband, Nina?
I beg your pardon.
Well, you can't expect me to believe he invited you here out of the goodness of his own heart. That will require him having one. No, you two know each other.
I've never met him. Honest.
Of course you haven't. What were you so upset about a minute ago, Nina? What happened?
I saw.
Yeah?
I thought I saw something.
In a place like this, that's bound to happen. May I give you a piece of advice, Nina? Don't go anywhere in this house by yourself. It's not safe. And don't ask questions. You won't like the answers. Not that I have all them, but I do have my suspicions, and those are bad enough. If you do as I say, you'll be fine, but if not, well, don't say I didn't warn you.
Oh, Nina, there you are! Oh, Annabelle.
I mean, it's one thing to hijack my party, but sure.
There must be some
And
misunderstanding.
please refrain from speaking to me so informally. I am still your employer's wife. So until the time we are no longer married or you are no longer employed, I must insist you only refer to me as Mrs. Lauren. Think you can handle that?
Of course. Mrs. Lauren.
That's a good girl. Now, Cassidy, Nina, I'd better go find my husband, and you two had better fix your faces as best you can.
Oh, Nina, are you all right? Yes. It's been a bad night. My heart's pounding. Your hands are like ice.
Come on, let's get you a blanket.
Cassidy, do you think it's safe here for me?
What do you mean? You don't think this house is haunted, do you?
Well, Pritchard said.
Nina, Pritchard's nuts. You can't go believing someone like him.
Right. It's just first my purse, then the blood, then whatever that was in the salad. We really need the money. We do, but maybe it's best I leave.
You know, I'd really hate to see miss out on an opportunity like this. But if you're really that concerned, maybe you should go. Listen, dinner's about to be served. Have a hot meal. Relax. If after dinner you're still feeling nervous, then I say go. No amount of money is worth your sanity. It'll be all right. You'll see. Just try to avoid Annabelle, or I'm sorry, Mrs. Lauren. You really do smell good. Oh, thanks. Nina! Nina! Nina!
If you're looking for the young girl with the red sweater and bad complexion, she went that way.
Thanks.
I'm Annabelle.
I'll be
And you are?
better than I was a moment ago. Lance Schroeder, test pilot.
Impressive.
It's a living.
Is it just me or is it really cold in here? Cassidy said there's no furnace in this house.
Oh, such a shame.
Now, Lance, I know this may sound odd, given we've just met, but if I were to, say, Need your help with something this evening? Could I count on you?
Sure, but aren't we just doing dinner and cake?
I wouldn't eat anything around here if I were you.
My little weenies?
What?
Nothing.
Call it women's intuition, but I know he's up to something. I'm just not sure what.
You mean your husband?
He's not who you think he is. Not even close. You realize I'm his fourth wife?
I sure do. That lucky, I mean so sad.
What you don't read about, what no one tells you, is that he didn't simply divorce his previous wives. He buried them, every one of them, once they reach a certain age, an expiration date. He got rid of them once they reached the age I'm turning tonight.
And, how old is that?
Old enough to know when a gal's in trouble.
Mrs. Lauren, I don't know what's going on here, but if your husband was planning to do something, why now, in a house full of people?
Not just people, strangers. Strangers who are so desperate for money they're willing to do practically anything for it.
I can't act like I don't need the cash, but even I have my limits.
That's good to hear. Reassuring. I'd better get going. If Frederick were to see us together, he'd go insane with jealousy. You sure I can count on you tonight? Should the need arise?
Just say the word. Annabelle, you really are afraid of him, aren't you?
He'd kill me if he could.
Look at my little Annabelle, making friends wherever she goes. Isn't she amusing? Later that evening, my wife and I, along with our motley crew, sat down for a large feast, courtesy of the slides. For all the food was splendid. The same could not be said of conversation. And for so much of the meal, we sat in utter silence, listening to the sound of the storm clouds rolling back in. Once the plates had been cleared, we retired to the drawing room. I must say, Mr. Slides, that was some meal you and your wife prepared. Truly exquisite. My compliments to you both. Right. Speaking of exquisite things, you look ravishing tonight, my dear. You truly do.
Thank you, Frederick.
I really wish it hadn't taken you so very long to get dressed. Almost half the evening's over.
Perfection is rarely punctual, darling.
And perfection you are. Don't you agree, Mr. Schroeder?
But,
My wife, isn't she a vision?
yeah, real pretty.
Yes, pretty. Tell me, my boy, are you all right? A young, healthy fellow like yourself, I expected you to be the first to clear your plate at dinner. And yet you barely touched your meal. It's almost as if you thought we were going to poison you or something. Now, where would you get an idea like that?
I haven't the faintest.
Cassidy, be a lad and whip everyone up a little after dinner drink. I'll have my usual.
And you, Miss Lauren?
Martini, swallowed.
Dirty?
Will be once you've touched it.
Here you go there, Miss Bridges?
Huh? Can't you see I'm preoccupied? First, my hat disappears, just vanishes. And then Lauren spilled soup on my dress during dinner. And, try as I might, I can't get it out.
Well, on the bright side, you can hardly see it. And I'll make sure you personally pay for the dry cleaning. It's the least we can do.
The very least. You know, it's unfortunate because after this was all over, I was hoping to return it. It's a bit out of my price range at the moment, but then again, what isn't these days?
I get that. But if tonight goes as planned, you'll leave with more than enough money to buy as many dresses as you want.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Cassidy, do you mean to tell me the money is here? All $250,000 of it?
I better be. I mean, I withdrew it myself.
And there's no red tape, no holdup. The sun rises, the doors open, and you walk out, cash in hand.
That's correct. Mr. Lauren will personally take it out of the safe and pretend you didn't hear me say anything.
Of course not.
So, your drink order?
Scotch in, of course.
Of course.
Perfect. Now, if you'll excuse me, dear, I simply need to use the ladies' room.
Down the hall to your left.
Well, Nina,
Doctor,
have you given any more thought to what we talked about earlier?
I have, and I know you don't approve, but I'm going to stay.
If you're certain.
I am.
like I'm just some drunk like the others. I'm just have a wild imagination, but deep down, you know I'm right. You have that look in your eyes.
What look?
The look of someone who sees something they can't explain. I say every time I pass a mirror. You saw her in the cellar, didn't you? The bride.
Wait, where are you going?
Ah, you hear that, everyone? Only 30 minutes now until the fun begins. So if you do plan on leaving, I'd start packing your things. For those of you staying, we have a few party favors. Give you a taste of what's to come. Let's see here. Ah.
Is it weenies?
Oh, well, not quite. These were my wife's idea. Personally, I think they're a tad dangerous, but that's what makes it so fun. Isn't that right, darling? Now, I suppose you all know how to use one of these, but in case you don't, allow me to demonstrate. Simply pull back this thing with your thumb. When your target is in sight, pull the trigger.
Hey! What's the big idea?
Yes, Mr. Schroeder, is something wrong?
No, but the guns, they aren't loaded, are they?
Only one way to find out.
I'll take that as a yes.
Mr. Lauren, you're going to upset them!
It's a good thing we have weapons then.
Those don't do any good against ghosts.
I hate to say it, but I'm afraid I agree with Pritchard.
How do you now?
Not about the ghosts, of course, that's ridiculous, but, well, given the circumstances, walking around a dark old house in the middle of the night with loaded weapons doesn't seem like the smartest decision in the world. It'll only make people more afraid, and fear, as we all know, can make even the sanest man do the most imprudent things.
Coincidentally, Doctor, the same can be said for breeze. Now, this is a birthday party after all, and what's a birthday party without cake? Oh, Mr. and Mrs. Slides!
I'll get it, sir.
Thank you, Cassidy. Now, per my wife's request, we're not putting any candles on our cake this year. Probably for the best. I doubt we could fit them all.
You know, Frederick, I am
Happy birthday to you.
Come on, everyone.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mrs. Rollins. Happy birthday
To you. And then
What kind of cake is that? That's Miss Bridget's hat, but where's she?
I haven't seen her in a while. Ruth, are you
Miss
here?
Bridges? Hey, Ruthie! Miss Bridges!
they have her. No, she's
Miss
Lauren.
Bridges?
I told you.
Miss Bridges!
You do not know where she is.
Is this your idea of
Take
justice?
her.
There was the kitchen.
Everyone calm down, it'll be all right. I'm sure wherever she is, she'll
She
be
could
perfectly
be large, she could be
fine.
hard, she could be dead somewhere you do not know.
Oh, Miss Bridges, we were looking for you. Are you quite all right?
Miss Bridges?
I'm not drunk enough for this.
Oh, God.
Stay with me! Forward!
Can you hear us, dear?
Mrs. Lauren, the caretakers, they're gone!
What? Who told them they could leave, Pritchard?
Is she?
Dead.
Oh, no! What could have happened to her? Doctor?
This is outside of my field of expertise, but it looks as if it was something she ate.
But that's impossible. She barely touched a meal. All she had was
Scotch and...
You did this, didn't you? You poisoned her just like you poisoned me.
Get out of her! How do we know it wasn't you?
I would never.
No, you have someone else do it for you. Isn't that right, Cassidy?
What?
You were the one serving the drinks. You're the one who brought in the hat. I can do it.
Of course not.
Oh, her you'll believe.
Yes.
Everyone calm down!
We have to get out of here! I have to get out of here! It's locked! You're gonna be flopped! Just like you walk!
Oh, no! Look!
It's Rebecca!
What do we do now?
By the looks of it, I'd say most of you have returned. Not a moment too soon. When you last perhaps our guests, they just witnessed the horrible tragedy that was the passing of poor Miss Bridges. Yes, horrible, horrible tragedy. On top of that, the storm that had since caused so much trepidation was continuing to rage, and the house was still shrouded in darkness. We still didn't know what made the ghostly apparitions appear to Nina in the cellar, why the caretakers had departed so suddenly, or who the culprit behind Ruth's murder was. Yes, we have a real mystery on our hands, and as any good detective will tell you, the best way to solve a mystery is by candlelight.
Mr. Lauren? Hello? Mr. Lauren? I don't understand. He said he was, but where could he?
Oh, it's a joke, dear, like before.
It wasn't very funny.
I'm sorry.
Have you seen Pritchard?
Yes, that's as we suspected. A blown fuse seems to be the culprit. At least, that's what he appeared to be muttering through his boozy, delusional fog. Either way, we won't have a drop of power until morning.
And Annabelle?
Locked in her room for the night, just like everyone else. Not that I blame her.
What happened to Ruth was upsetting, to say the least. Especially to Nina.
Yes, Dr. Trent told me he's especially concerned for her.
Did he?
Even pulled me aside and told me he suspects she's suffering from hysteria.
Poor thing.
Indeed.
So, let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. We're stuck in the middle of nowhere with no phone, no electricity, no power, no way out, and a girl on the brink of a nervous breakdown.
That seems to be the case.
It's all going according to plan.
And it's all thanks to you, dear sweet.
Mrs. Lauren! What if someone sees?
Then we shoot them and dump their body next to the reporter.
Frederick!
Only a joke, darling.
And you're
Or
honest?
is it?
And you're honest, Annabelle doesn't suspect a thing?
On the contrary, Annabelle suspects everything. She's inherently mistrustful. It's one of the few qualities I truly like about her. Either way, she's much too vain to believe anyone could concoct such a plan, let alone execute it. And her.
Frederick? Are you sure it wasn't you who killed Ruth?
Of course not. It must have been Annabelle. Though what the busybody columnist has to do with her, I'm not sure. I'll go look after Annabelle. You go after Nina yourself.
All right.
Oh, and Cassie. Something to remember me by.
Annabelle. Annabelle. Annabelle! I was hoping I'd find you here. I wanted to see how you were doing.
Keep your voice down. He might hear you.
He?
My husband, of course.
So, you really think he did it, huh? You really think he killed Ruth?
I don't think. I know. In fact, I'd bet every house I own on that fact. And at least 3 of the odds.
Yeah, me. 3! Sorry.
That's why I'm down here. He's been gone for far too long. I know he's up to something. Just not sure what.
But that could be dangerous.
For an amateur, maybe. But I've been in worse scrapes than this. It's nothing I can't handle.
Fine, but I'm coming with you.
No. You're sweet, and I appreciate you wanting to protect me. But, like I said, if Frederick were to see us together,
Let him. If it came down to it, I could take him.
I love that you think that. But Frederick doesn't fight with flesh, only his brains, and I'm afraid the two of you aren't evenly matched in that arena. Oh, Lance, don't be upset. It's nice to be around a man who doesn't want to constantly choke the life out of you. Refreshing, actually. But this I've got to do alone.
There must be something I can do.
Honestly, pray my suspicions are wrong and that my husband isn't trying to kill me.
I meant more distract him or make you a sandwich, but how you want to do?
Oh, my head.
Miss Pritchard, it's Nina. Are you in there?
Go
Miss
away.
Pritchard?
Go away.
Miss Pritchard, are you all right?
Terrific. The room's spinning and tonight tonight's dinner is not as good coming up as it did going down. What do you want?
Well, you said earlier that you could tell that I've seen her, you know, the...
Ghost. I remember. I also seem to remember you walking away like I wasn't even in the room.
Oh,
Look, I don't really care for the others, Trent, Lance, and the dead one. But at least they have the decency to be rude to my face. You couldn't even do that.
I'm really sorry, but
Look, it doesn't matter. None of you guys understand what I've been through. Not just with the ghost, but with family and loss and not having enough money to make a day-to-day. It's hard when you have nothing to fall back on.
it is, I know. But if you could help me with the...
Nina, I need to go to sleep, and you need to go.
Well, I know, but...
Good night, Nina.
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. And for what it's worth, I do believe you about the ghosts.
You really mean that?
I do.
How do you like that? My own family's the only one who told me about this place. So, you really saw her?
Yeah, it was terrible. I can't get that image out of my head. I don't know how you've been able to function after an encounter like that, especially for all these years.
Trick to keep a level head.
When I saw her in the cellar, she said that she knew something about me. And for a moment, it felt like she did. Who is this ghost, Miss Pritchard? What do you know about her?
Only my grandfather told me, but it isn't pretty. Have you ever heard of Byron Halifax? He was a coal miner that struck it big in the gold rush of '49. After that, he could get pretty much whatever he wanted. And what he wanted most of all was a daughter of his own. So he adopted one, a 12-year-old girl named Rebecca Halifax. Oh, he loved her so much, so dearly, in fact. He could never really see the harsh truths that were right in front of him.
Like,
Rebecca wasn't like any girl her age, or any age, really. Little stuff at first, like playing a little rough with the other kids, or talking back. But as she got older, things got worse. Pets would go missing. Staff began to quit. People kept getting hurt. It was like she had this darkness inside her, and the more she tried to contain it, the more it overcame her, until it made her do terrible things. And another thing about Rebecca is people who cross her path would find their belongings would go missing. Some people thought she used them for spells.
spells?
That's right. She had a reputation for being some sort of a witch. At least that's what everyone believed. Everyone except for Byron. He could never believe that people thought his daughter were doing these terrible things. A couple of years later, he decided to hire a man from out of town to work for him. A young fella. When this guy and Rebecca met, they instantly fell in love. Soon after that, he proposed. With this new guy, it was like all the darkness outside Rebecca faded away. As a wedding gift, Rebecca asked her father to build her a mansion in the middle of the desert so that her and her fiancé could have all the privacy in the world. And of course, Byron complied. So, the day the wedding came, when my grandfather heard it, the Valentine's pulled out all the stops. They even had it set up for rose petals to fall from the rafters as the bride made her way down the aisle. A couple hours before the reception, though, Rebecca wanted a moment alone with her fiancé. So, as she passed the reception hall, she saw her fiancé with another woman. He tried to explain himself, but it didn't matter. All the darkness outside Rebecca, it exploded out of her. She grabbed the knife by the cape and began stabbing the two of them, over and over and over, so her wedding dress was stained in blood.
That's horrible.
It gets worse. After that, she fled here, on a dark and stormy night. She cursed the house, saying that if she didn't have her happy ending, then no one who stepped foot within these walls would either. Then, she took that knife, the same knife she used to kill her fiancé, and plunged into her heart, dying in a pool of her own blood.
Wait, you mean to say that the blood that seeped through the floor, the blood of her first victim was
Her own. And now, 100 years later, she still roams these halls. You can feel her, can't you? It's like she's in the room with us now. All the light leaves the room, the walls begin to move, and you can feel her cold hands grasp around your neck.
What was that?
I don't know. We have to go.
You! Why, you son of a Unitop! Did you?
How could I?
She's not doing you dead!
And where are you? I'm gonna yell!
Why, I'm gonna!
Gentlemen, let's use a little decorum. Now, someone help me get her down.
No! Don't touch her! I'll do it. I hope you're happy. Whoever did this.
I knew it. I knew it. It's all my fault. First Miss Bridges now. We have to get out of here.
Yes, you do.
One thing, the caretakers are gone, and they were our only way out. The only door to the outside is made of steel and set in solid stone.
Then we'll have to try and pick the lock.
But like I already said, she won't let you go, she won't want you to. Is that right, Nina?
Miss Nears is not afraid of your ghost, Pritchard, and neither am I.
Is that so?
Yes, but I'm afraid. Two of our companions are dead, and neither by natural causes. Ruth barely touched her food, so something must have slipped into her drink, and Mrs. Lauren, well, even if she wanted to harm herself, she couldn't. At least not alone. One of us had to help her, or at least hoist her.
I'm telling you it was Lauren. Why doesn't anyone believe me?
I believe you, Lance.
Why didn't anyone elucidate believe me?
That's fair.
Now wait just a minute. I'm not gonna stand here and accuse Mr. Warren of murder. He would never do that, not in a million years.
Million years? No. But to save his millions?
Where's your facts? Your evidence?
You want facts? How about the fact that all four of Mr. Lawrence's wives turned up dead? Or the fact that last time I saw Annabelle, she was on her way to see him. Or the fact she told me personally she was worried about what would happen to her.
That means nothing.
All right. How about the fact two people in this house have died tonight? And there's a pretty good chance it will happen again. I say we cut to the chase and take care of Mr. Lauren ourselves.
Lance, that's mob mentality. It's also a matter for the police. The most important thing now is to protect ourselves. Clearly, going to our respective rooms and locking the door is not the solution.
Then what is?
We stay here in the drawing room, all night, watching each other. That's where our night here began, and that's where it will end.
Okay, but what if I have to do something?
No one leaves.
Okay.
Can we all agree to that?
I do. Whatever.
Okay, but one thing I really don't get is that what if we have to really...
It's decided then. Let's all go to our rooms and grab our things.
Wait, you just told us to stay here. Now you want us to leave? What if somebody doesn't come back?
Well, the guilty will admit their guilt by not returning, and the innocent will have no reason not to leave. Let's give ourselves 10 minutes. 10 minutes to grab what you absolutely need and get back here, starting now.
Let's go together, Nina.
Just a moment, Nina. I'd like you to take this with you for protection.
Oh, it's all right, Doctor.
I feel much more comfortable knowing you had a way to defend yourself. Need a rise. Thank you.
Let's go.
I really don't get these people. Guns, stakeouts, why listen to the drunk?
While I was mourning the passing of my wife, Cassie and Nina made their way up to Nina's room. And while barely a word was spoken between them here, it was obvious to Nina that Cassidy was fuming. Clearly my little Spitfire wasn't fond of the accusations Trent and Schroeder were hurling my way. Still, being the good Protestant she was, she waited until she was behind closed doors before she let her geyser of frustration erupt. Oh, to be a fly on a wall, or a narrator with a people.
And another thing, the nerve that test pilot is Dr. Trent to accuse Lauren of murder when they have no evidence. No evidence whatsoever. None. And if this get out to the press, it could ruin his reputation. No, his life. It's all just so. Are you alright? Never better. It's been a rough night.
It has, but I do understand where you're coming from.
I'm glad somebody does. Most people don't. Most men, anyway. They just expect you to push everything down. All that pain and outrage, just push it down and cover it with a smile. Make you the big toothy one while you're at it. The world just kicks you and kicks you and kicks you, and you're expected to just keep chugging along, taking it. Well, enough wallowing. Ooh, that's a pretty bottle. Old, delicate. What? No! Is the one you've been wearing? It looks just Give it back! I just the camera. Give it back! Give it back now! I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. Well, I had better get going before they try and accuse us of murder too.
Cassidy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just, it belonged to my mother. It's one of the few things of hers that I have left, and the only thing that makes me feel as if she's still here with me.
Oh. I lost my mother too. It's hard. You don't mind me asking, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to. I was just wondering what.
It's all right. It was about 5 years ago, back when I still worked for Mr. Lawrence. My father had recently passed away, and my mother, she refused to go out ever since he died. So, Barbara and I, we were determined to take her out. We went to this little French bistro we read about and ordered all sorts of appetizers and things to try. But she looked miserable, so miserable and broken that she begged me to take her home. But Barbara and I, we insisted we stay. But I couldn't do it. So I excused myself and said I was going to get the car, and I did, but not before stopping off at the bar. Normally I don't drink. It's just with the pressure and everything, I needed something to help me to take your mind off things. Right. When I got to the car, it started to rain, coming down in sheets. It was hard to see. I started hitting the brakes, but nothing worked. Nothing worked. The crash, it hurled my sister through the windshield, leaving her paralyzed. And my mother, she never made it out of the hospital. And it's all my fault. No. I should have never drank the wine. My mom, she never wanted to go. But I made her go, and Barbara, she'll never forgive me for what I've done. It's all my fault, and I can't do anything about it.
Nina, anyone who's ever been in your shoes or in your position will understand why you did what you did. You're crying. Here, sit down. Here. What do we have left? I'm gonna grab some more.
No, I think I'd like a moment alone.
No, it's fine. It's from down the
No,
hall.
please.
Right. Take all the time you need.
It's all right, Nina. Only a few more hours, and then you're home free.
Nina.
What? No! Who's there? If this is Rebecca, I'll promise I'll be out of the house in a few hours. You'll never see me again.
Oh, poor Poor Annabelle, my Annabelle. You were so beautiful and so greedy, right up until the end. I know you can't hear me, dearest, but I also know you're looking up, watching this scene unfold. Please know, darling, that while our marriage was not perfect, we had as many fights as you had infidelities. Deep down, in my own way, I still tolerated you. Bye, my darling. Till we meet again. Doctor! Oh, what are you doing here?
I've just spoken with Miss Bowman. She said we're moving the party down to the cellar.
The cellar?
I thought it odd too, but I suppose it doesn't matter as long as we're all together.
True, true. Goodbye, sweet. Shall we?
Oh, I just remembered. I left something up in my room. I'll check with you in a moment.
Of course.
What's happening? What's going on? Did she do it? Did she kill him?
Not yet, but she will. Frederick's on his way to the cellar as we speak.
And the girl?
In her room.
We have to hurry. We don't have much time. Get me out of this thing, this hanging harness. What about the reporter? Has anyone confessed to killing her yet?
Not yet.
I know it was Frederick. It had to be. Death by poison? He's clearly trying to frame me.
But didn't you?
I did try to poison him. That's not the point, though. Did you give the girl the gun?
Yes. All taken care of. And if for some reason she misses, there's always Lance. You planted the seeds of doubt beautifully, not one, dear.
I did, didn't I? And it was almost too easy to trick the girl. The blood, the voices.
Not to
The
mention the
ghosts.
pills. And there's my beautiful blood-stained bride. It truly is the perfect crime, you know? Luring an emotionally unstable girl here with the promise of money, only to scare her so bad that she accidentally kills the great Frederick Lauren. Who would ever suspect we planned it? That would set her up right from the start.
You did make sure she took the gun?
Yes. If Nina doesn't do Frederick in, I have no doubt Lance will take care of him.
He will. And by suicide?
Just a simple party game that went a few steps too far. Nothing more. We can't be held accountable for the actions of others.
My darling, you truly have thought of everything, haven't you?
Before long, we'll be on a little island somewhere, sipping cocktails and spending Lauren's millions.
Sounds like heaven.
I know.
There's just one problem, though. Frederick's money.
Worried you won't be able to spend it all?
No, you see, I don't want to share it.
What? Annabelle, no!
Sorry, darling. I'm afraid you're worn out of your welcome. I just won't stop me.
Doc? Annabelle?
Lance,
You're alive?
calm down. Calm down.
Get away from me, you ghost, or whatever you are.
Lance, it's me. I'm alive.
You are? But I saw you.
It was Frederick. He and Lance and Trent, they wanted to make it look like I hanged myself. They put me in this ridiculous getup and a hanging harness.
It's just awful. But if they wanted to do that,
Oh, who knows, Lance? Who knows how their minds work? But at least you're here now, and we can stop them together. You will help me, Lance. Oh, say that you will. Say that you will.
yeah, I will.
Thank God. Thank
Annabelle,
Yes?
what are you doing with Nina's purse?
What? No, Frederick must have left it there. Him and Trent are stealing things from people left and right, trying to make everyone think it's the ghost. Why, I even heard the doctors say they're hiding all their stolen goods behind the furnace. Probably because they figured no one would think to look there.
Oh, but I thought you said this house doesn't have a furnace.
Darn.
What?
Nothing, you're just smarter than you look.
Cassidy, are you here? Doctor? Lance? Oh no! No!
Poor Nina, she knew not what horrors lay ahead of her. But she knew that whatever it was, it couldn't be nearly as terrible as what was following her. The voices continued to chase her, almost as if they were guiding her, and she ran right down to the cellar, where I was waiting.
What was that? Who's there? You hear me? Who's there? Please, don't! Who is it? Who?
Nina!
What?
Are you alright?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no, Mr. Lauren, are you alright? Oh, please don't be dead. Please don't be dead. Oh. You're alright.
Well, that's an overstatement, but it seems my bulletproof vest absorbed most of the impact.
Why are you wearing a bulletproof vest?
I think it's
What? She's here.
What?
You're all here.
What is that?
They're all here. You have to get up. We have to go. Now. Ah! We have to go, Mr. Lewis. We have to go. No. Please do something.
Nina.
Sorry. But, what are you doing here? What?
I'm alive, and I see the same piece said for my husband. How unfortunate.
sorry to disappoint you, darling. Better luck next time.
But, why are you dressed like that? How are you still alive? What's going on?
All excellent questions, Zena. My assumption, my lovely little wife has decided to take another shot at killing me. Only this time, she decided to trick someone else into doing it for her.
Me?
See, and you said she wasn't very smart. Yes, lady. My assumption is my wife did some digging, found out about your past, treatments, medications, and she thought that if she could scare you enough, she could trick you into killing me without anyone being the wiser.
But who would tell her about me, about my, there's only one person who would, but no, he would never do that.
I've learned a great many things in my life, one of them being that you can never really trust anyone. Not even dark.
But it's not true, is it?
Come now, Annabelle. It's the least you can do.
As much as it pains me to admit it, my husband is right. But don't worry, Dr. Trent will never be bothering you again.
Oh, stop from the back, now.
Actually, the front. Now, as enjoyable as the little tete-a-tete has been, I did come here to make sure my husband was properly disposed of. You're not going to take care of it.
Annabelle, stop! No!
Cassie, right on time!
Oh, no, you're right.
Better than Annabelle's about to be, I assure you. And now, my lovely little wife, the twist you didn't see coming. After all, one good double cross deserves another.
Is that so?
Exactly. You see, me and Cassidy were in on your plan with Trent the entire time. Even to help you to make sure it went off without a hitch. So that when we got to this moment right here, I'd be able to look you in the eyes and tell you that what you fear most is going to come true. You will be replaced, and Cassidy and I will be married, and you, well, you're a date with a vat of acid. What do you have to say to that?
Only that this is also unfortunate.
Oh, unfortunate.
Yes, it's unfortunate that you couldn't die like we were supposed to. Poor Cassidy, poor Nina could have simply played her part, unawares what was truly going on. Everyone would have gotten what they deserved. Everyone would have been happy, excluding you, of course. But I suppose fate had different plans. Isn't that right, Cassidy?
Unfortunately.
Oh, dearest, what's going on?
Isn't it obvious, Frederick? You've been had by the most unlikely of duos. Your wife and...
Your mistress. To think we've been pulling the strings all along, manipulating you and Dr. Trent to see exactly what we want. I suppose what you said really is true. You never really can trust anyone.
But Cassidy!
But Cassidy, I have to hand it to this one. I always thought I was the master when it came to manipulating men. But Cassidy, you, my dear, take the cake.
Thank you, Mrs. Lauren. Setting up an operation this elaborate takes time.
Resources.
Not to mention months of planning. Sure, I could have just let you throw it in your sleep, but where's the fun in all that?
None whatsoever. Plus, all else will fall on moi as the prime suspect.
How could you do all this? How could I do this? How could I not? It's always the same story, Nina. Girl gets job. Girl sells a job. Girl catches the eye of an employer, thinks no is ready of foreplay. And then she's faced with two choices. Either give him what he wants, or he'll leave her at the door. That's it. And even if I was to find another job without his recommendation, how long until the cycle repeats itself? Do you know how many assistants the great Frederick Lauren has gone through? Not to mention secretaries, stenographers.
What?
It's time someone took a stand. It's time someone stood up for the next girl, the next assistant, the next bride.
But how is killing him going to help you? What do you want?
Well, what I want now is for you to listen. I like you, Nina. You deserve so much more out of this world, and I want to help you get it. And that's why, and I know what this is going to be hard for you to hear, but that's why I need you to shoot Frederick.
What?
No!
She's right, Nina. Shoot him. Shoot him right in the head.
Never! Oh, come on. We'll be your witnesses. Me and Annabelle, we said it was an accident.
We'll come up with a story together. One that explains the murders. Ruth, Trent, Lance,
Lance?
collateral damage.
I can't do this. Murdering someone isn't right.
I agree with her!
Shut up! Who's to say what's right? Men?
Please, they've had this game rigged since the beginning. They make the rules and more for us to play by them.
Exactly. All you need to do to change your life is to make someone else's. Shoot, I'd kill him here, myself, right now. But slashing his throat doesn't exactly scream accident.
No, it just screams.
But a poor, innocent young woman mistakenly shooting a man in a dark cellar after a fuse is blown, no one can convict you, no matter how hard they try. So, shoot him, Nina.
Give him something
To remember us by.
No,
Shoot
no.
him. Shoot
Nina,
him.
please.
Shoot him.
Nina,
Shoot
listen.
him. Shoot him. Shoot him. Stop it. Annabelle? No! No! What? How could I? Lance! Oh, Lance!
Good to see you two.
Now, where were we?
Oh, give up, Annabelle! Annabelle, you've lost. It's 3-1.
Oh, please! You two are at arms and Baron has won. Oh, I am going to enjoy putting a bullet in you, Frederick. And Lance. And little Miss Nina. Oh, I am so disappointed. I practically handed this opportunity to you. This chance to rise up and take what we were given. But you couldn't even do that, could you? I guess you were right in the end. You weren't strong enough to save your mother. You aren't strong enough to help your sister. And you'll never be strong enough to stop someone like me. What is that? Frederick, what are you pulling?
How can I?
What? It's Rebecca! Oh! Enough of this! No! 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 Come on, let's get out of here! No, no more running.
Shoot yourself.
Hiding in the shadows for too long. I know what it's like to be different, to be betrayed. But this isn't right, and you know it. That's why you killed yourself. Ah! I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm not afraid of you, Rebecca. Ah! I'm not afraid of you, Rebecca. Not anymore. Ah! I'm not afraid of you, Rebecca.
She's gone.
How'd you like that?
Oh, you did it, Miss Venus, you did it.
I did it, didn't I?
Oh, you have my eternal gratitude. Both of you do. My gratitude and, of course, my money.
That's great and all, but after all this, I really need to use the John. Wait, never mind.
Done yourself, Miss Myers, truly. Now, perhaps we should vacate these premises before Rebecca decides to take another go at us.
I'm still thinking about Miss Bridges. Who is responsible for killing her?
Who knows? I guess Annabelle and Trent. Or perhaps the ghosts. They did mark her after all.
Perhaps.
Oh, Nina. Nina. Sweet little Nina. Cassidy's unexpected termination has left an opening in my company that desperately needs to be filled. What do you say? Personally, I can't think of anyone better. The pay is excellent, and so are the benefits.
No.
No. Are you sure you know what you're turning down?
Yes, and my answer is no.
It's a shame. She was so amusing. So much bloodshed in one evening. Poor Annabelle, poor Cassidy, and poor Miss Bridges. Suffered the same fate as my first 3 wives. You just couldn't hold your liquor, now could you, my dear? It's a shame. I suppose this finally teaches you about writing nasty, muckrake articles detailing an honest man's supposed affairs. Oh well. What? Ah! No! Get away from me! Get back! No! I killed you! I killed you! Get away! No! No! Get back! Get back! Ah! No! No! Get away! No! No! Get back! No! Ah! for anything. Ah, ghastly, the worst!
See, I told you your wine was terrible.
Quiet you. You want the vat of acid again?
Yes, it turns out the slides were nothing more than the ghosts of the charming old-world couple who purchased the house after Rebecca cursed it. And yet, even with your happily ever after presented and all the strands tied together, we're left with so many questions, so many implausible impossibilities. My advice, don't think too hard about anything you've witnessed this evening. Some things defy explanation. Though if it's truly answers you seek, well then, you'll just have to come see us next time. After all, these parties are to die for.